Hey YouTube, you have Leonard here. Bringing guys and gals, Kanojo Okudishimasu, Rent a Girlfriend, we're here, chapter 240. Oh, what a chapter, my head hurts. Of course, everybody, follow me on Twitch, link in the description box down below. You can find the full live reaction over there, no filter, etc. This chapter literally has me where I'm just like, I don't know. I'm honestly at a loss here, guys. Kazuya, I love Kazuya. No matter what I say, I do like Kazuya. I enjoy his character. Makes me laugh at times. And I think he's unfair. He gets a lot of hate that's not warranted many times. But with that said, in this chapter, it's classic. The things I don't like about Kazuya, his mind is in the gutter and is in such a bad way. It's really bad. So we get throughout this chapter, Kazuya's like in his feels per the usual. He's thinking about everything that's going down. He's trying to interpret what it is that Chizuru could possibly have meant. And the thing that's interesting in Kazuya's character is that he will go all around basically. Okay, so let's talk about my Twitch chat. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I'll get back to you guys. I don't know what's happening right now. But anyway, Kazuya has this way of like literally going through in his mind about all these different scenarios, and usually kind of gets for the most part like what it is that really is the case, but then he has like all these other delusions that kind of take over as well. So you end up getting this chapter as I look at it. He's thinking about Chizuru, like what could she mean by her words? And we have like two separate instances of like these really awkward, like it almost reminiscent of chapter 218 of just like a naked Chizuru. And I'm just like, I don't like it. But here's my thing, and this is why I said during the live reaction, I don't care for having it in there. If Rage wants to do it, then fine. By all means, do what you gotta do. Is your story, but I don't need that. But I feel like the salt on the wound is the fact that the panels don't even look good. It's just a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, you're giving me these like scenes, and then afterwards, it's like you add in the fact that like Chizuru's sag. It was just weird. It was all very weird, and it makes me wonder about Kazuya and his general mindset. But I digress. This is not important for the crux of the chapter. The two biggest things are the ending, which I will get to, and then of course Yaimori in the middle part of the chapter. So Yaimori comes in, and per the usual, Yaimori, she just nicknamed her MVP. You see Yaimori, you just gotta be like, you the real MVP every single time we see her, because Mini truly knows how to get out the thoughts of the reader, and she conveys it to Kazuya. Kazuya is feeling accomplished. He's all happy, etc. He's just like, look at me, you know, you really want to know what happened, blah, blah, blah. He's acting all high and mighty. And then when he tells the truth of the situation, Mini's just like, what is wrong with you? Now, keep in mind, everybody, in my last video, I said specifically in that situation with Mizuhara, when she said, and I quote, you love Chizuru Mizuhara, that should have been a wake-up call first and foremost for Kazuya. I know on the YouTube side, Frieza, you've mentioned this before as well, the fact that again, this was going to be an issue that has been foreshadowed for months now in this story, and it's actually come to fruition. And in this situation, just kind of like Kazuya, the moment she said that, you have a moment of like, you know, retrospect, like you kind of like think back, right? Introspective thoughts. And then you should have gone and been like, no, I know I started off liking Chizuru Mizuhara and the rentals, etc. But as time went on, I came to know and care and love you, Ichinose, and drop the Mizuhara nonsense. That's all you had to do. Now, granted, of course, with the way Chizuru is, we don't know if that would have worked or not, but it would have been the right response from Kazuya. But he left it alone. And Mini is just like, what are you doing? All you had to do was grab her and say like, I love Chizuru Ichinose. Why didn't you do that? That was so obvious and in front of you. Like, what is wrong with you? And Kazuya's just trying to defend himself like, oh, well, you know, it didn't feel right and blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I guess I could have. And Mini, I love the fact that she's just like, at the end of the day, you two are going to be 80 years old, still doing the same nonsense. And I know that it's not going to go down that route, but that was kind of part of my concern. As much as I liked last chapter, part of my concern objectively was the fact that while I can infer that things are of course going to get better now that they've had the conversation and things can move forward, at the face value, if I was in this story at face value, not knowing what could happen, you look and you're just like, well, you guys are basically on a reset and you guys are still kind of status quo. You're not in the I don't like you, I don't hate you, etc. and like we're avoiding each other. But you guys are back into this weird status quo where it's just like nothing's really been decided. And even here, it's just like in the chapter, Chizuru now has a moment where we see that she's clearly still out of it. She's trying to like drink her water, but she has the cap still on. And in those situations, she's still thinking like, did I handle things properly yesterday? Should I have been like more open? And I think that's very interesting because in general, whenever Chizuru finds herself in these situations, she has a tendency to close herself off, to be very much so like very pragmatic and try to like be very mature about things. Anytime you see mature, like the mature version of Chizuru always says Mizuhara because she's trying to put on a mature act, when in fact that's not actually how she is to some degree, and it's not what she should always do. So I thought that was interesting there. And then finally get the end of the chapter. Again, I'm skipping over all of the nonsense that was taking place in Kazuya's mind, his dialogue. I don't really think that's important here. A lot of that was fluff. But the big thing now that we get towards the end, Chizuru comes to the apartment and she's walking in and they're going through all the coupon stuff. And she's like, hey, I want to have a chat. And she's like, close the door. And now I'm looking at the panel right now on my screen. And it's just interesting the way that I feel like Deiji decides to like do this. Where after she asks, let's have a chat, he goes full white background panel, emphasizes the close the door, and then the title of the next chapter is completely naked. So it's meant to make us, especially because of Kazuya's thoughts throughout the chapter, make us possibly think, is something about to go down? Nothing is going to go down whatsoever here, everybody. Like, I know that for a fact. Nothing's going to happen. What I will say, though, is the fact that this provides an opportunity, based on Chizuru's thoughts in this chapter, to really start to flesh out more so like how she feels. I'm not expecting confessions or anything like that. I think that boat has kind of sailed for the most part. But in terms of Chizuru and her mentality and her questioning, like, how does she handle things the every day? I think she's gonna have an earnest conversation about like what her and Kazuya should do moving forward. Do they want to go on a date or something? Are they going to still do rental stuff? How do they interact with each other at school? Like, these are all things that they're going to probably have a conversation about and delve into. She hasn't made a determination yet. There's no way that she made a determination as to how she feels this quickly. But steps need to be taking place with regards to their relationship where it can be the same as it was before. That's an absolute no, massive no. Things need to change in their relationship, the way that they handle each other, they approach one another, they communicate, etc. And I'm curious to see how that's going to go in terms of them being, I guess, open. Just having open dialogue, kind of similar to last chapter. And I think that honestly, for the sake of the story, for the sake of their relationship, if there's going to be one, that is what they need. Open dialogue, communication. Can't have enough of that. Now, with that, I will continue to harp on the same things I've been saying for the longest time now. Where's everybody? Literally, where's Ruka? Where's Kibe? Where's Kuri? Where's Naogumi? Where's Kazuya's whole family? Where's Mommy? So many questions. We haven't seen anybody except for Mini. Where's Sumi? Let's get Sumi back. And it just makes you wonder, like, again, like, where are we going to go here? How do we update everybody? And what's been happening behind the scenes for the past 3 months where all this went down? What has Ruka been up to? Is Kibe still salty? Is he even still friends with Kazuya? Where's Kuri been? I don't know. I got many a question, but with that, everybody, that is the chapter. Those are my thoughts. Again, not much happening here. I think more to come certainly in the next chapter. The biggest things again being, first and foremost, Mini's interaction with Kazuya to help him to understand that, hey, it's good that what happened, but you guys are still kind of like this weird net neutral area, and you could have handled things possibly a little bit better. And then from Chizuru's standpoint, the realization that maybe she could have done things better as well, and trying to make amends at the end of this chapter by having a chat with Kazuya, telling him to close the door and have an open heart-to-heart conversation. So that's where we are right there. So with that, everyone, I'm going to end this here on the YouTube side. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you feel about this chapter? Do you agree, Mini? I mean, I know for a fact I definitely do. I definitely agree where Mini was coming from. What do you think is going to happen with Kazuya and Chizuru next chapter? Do you think we're going to be getting... Or do you think we're going to have like an actual like good dialogue? Of course, I'm leaning towards the latter based on my dialogue throughout this whole entire review. And how did you guys feel about some of the scenes in the chapter? Did you like it? Did you think it was unnecessary? Honestly, I find it unnecessary, but I don't hate it. I hated the fact that in addition to having it was unnecessary, it just looked uncomfortable. Like literally, I mean, I read stuff, and I was just like, this doesn't even look like good. So I was just like, I didn't need that. So those are my thoughts there. So everyone, per the usual, like the video, like the video, subscribe for like my content, and it's greatly appreciated as always. And with that, I'm Leonard, and I'm out. Take care, everybody, and have a good one.